what I really would like you to do today is reflect with us how we can make a real difference in this world by investing in children and families and finding a way to empower them to become agents of change, to find a way for them to actually have an impact as they are growing up. And we've been talking about this and talking about it, and there are a few books out there, and I do need to keep this short because Will is here and I don't want to run over my time. But if you have a chance to look through this guy, I will be holding it up a few times during the course of the day. And it's basically called Pathways to Peace, the Transformative Power of Children and Families. And it's something that we did that was published by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Press a few years ago, but it's really been, I think, influential in bringing us all together. So before I turn the floor over to Will, and we're very fortunate to have Will here, and I'm not sure how many of you have actually heard of IRIS, otherwise known as the Integrated Refugee and Immigrant Services here in Connecticut and around the globe, but it's based here in New Haven. How many of you have heard of IRIS? So sooner or later, many more of you will hear of IRIS because he's about to make an introduction. And another high point today is that we have a young girl from Sudan who's 11, and she's actually going to be reading this pledge to all of us, and I guess I'm hoping that she'll also invite you to read the pledge with her, and it's basically something that I think all of you have received when you first signed in. So take a look at it and see if it's something that you'd actually agree to sign, and you can do all sorts of things. You can go online and use your app to register as well. So I thank the folks from Queens. Thanks again. Really amazing what you've been up to. And basically what we're trying to do is pilot and decide on what the program should be in a culturally sensitive way across these 6 or 7 countries. And we're actually hoping to actually add a few more countries. And I saw Hillel Levine here. There he is. And we certainly have many colleagues here who are interested in what's going on in Israel and Palestine, and that's another one of the areas that we've actually been talking about together in terms of what we might do. But I'm also going to be making an introduction for Rima Sala. Where is Rima? Oh. I thought she had disappeared, but she's right here. But she has been just amazing. She's actually our first speaker, and she's the chairman of the Early Childhood Peace Consortium, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that. And here comes Judy Cuthbertson. Welcome. Another early childhood educator. And I really am so grateful to our colleagues here in New Haven, because once we got the word out, and that was thanks largely to Carla, so many of the people that have signed up are actually people who are invested in early childhood education here in Connecticut. So whether we're talking about global, and I'm sorry the volume is going up again, if you could turn it down just a smidge, I'd appreciate it. But she'll tell you more about the Early Childhood Peace Consortium when her turn comes, and I think I've probably run out of time. Let me see if there was anything else. Oh, thank you, UNICEF. And Fritz, where are you? There's Fritz. So there are a number of people, and we have a number of other colleagues. Of course, P is with UNICEF as well, but really we're really just amazing in making this all happen. And I guess we're also so pleased, our most prominent keynote speaker, along with Ambassador Chowdhury, is Sherry Weston, and it'll be wonderful to hear her presentation and the 100 million and change that she'll be telling us about in terms of what's been going on with regard to the Syrian situation, conflict. So we do have somebody, Shimra, that's going to hold up signs that say 5 minutes to go or things of that sort. Okay. So let me just close with this. The need is great. And before I ask Will to come to the podium, I'd ask you to actually join hands with everybody that's at your table and be thoughtful about the many children and families throughout the world that are in fragile settings. Whether we're talking about the starving children in Yemen, whether we're talking about the displaced families of the Rohingya population, the children and families associated and impacted by the conflict in Syria, or whether we're talking about the families at the border of our country with Mexico. I guess I find it ironic and painful that this Thursday, today, is a week after our Thanksgiving holiday. And if many of you know, here in the United States, what is Thanksgiving all about? It's about the fact that there were Native people in Massachusetts that welcomed the individuals coming in from the United Kingdom, the Pilgrims, and they actually were celebrating the first harvest, and it was only because the Native people actually helped the individuals coming in from the United Kingdom to actually have a successful harvest and to be located in that community. So the need is great, and I guess I would just ask you to take a few deep breaths and to be thoughtful about these families. And we need to make a difference. We need to become agents of change, and each one of you can make a difference, and that's what that pledge is all about. So I'm going to sit down and ask Will to stand up and welcome you as well.